You knew the pay when you were applying for the job. Now, surely, you cannot get the job and start saying, oh, we want more pay. But you knew what the pay was. Why did you ask for the job? Anyway, we'll discuss that in detail. CT has the day's proverb.
Indeed, I do. Good fortune. What did I say the previous time? That good fortune did what again?
Good fortune doesn't hear the roar of a lion.
Doesn't like.
Or doesn't like.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that's what I said.
Okay.
Good fortune doesn't like the roar of a lion.
Good fortune doesn't like the roar of a lion.
Yes.
Bona Speaker, what do you, how do you interpret this proverb?
Well, this seems to look like a Nairobi one. We haven't had this in the villages. But good fortune and then the roar of a lion. Good fortune doesn't like the roar of a lion. That's a special one. Maybe CT should make it easier for us.
All right.
Cricket for you.
Okay, let me twist it then. But
let's
maybe
Mheshimiwa, what do you think?
It could be a Nairobi one. Let's hear.
And this is a Nairobian. Yes.
No, I think you know, just like they say that you don't eat and shout. You might not be very comfortable, you know, roaring and still being comfortable. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to interpret. Like any city is always trying to give us mind twists every morning.
This man just called me a mind twister.
Yes. Do you confirm or deny?
I neither confirm nor deny. Yes. Well, okay.
Twist it.
Let's twist this proverb.
Yes.
Good fortune doesn't roar like a lion.
Doesn't roar like
Yes.
a lion.
Yes.
But initially it was doesn't like.
The roar. Yes. Now, yes. I've said let's twist it so that we can see. Doesn't roar like a lion.
Perhaps it's something not far from that deep waters are more still, and that good fortune is equally still. There is less noise, there's less raw ulubalo when it comes to the fortune. The stability and silence in fortune.
What do you think?
This is like the advice you give to the wash guys that utajiri ajui kelele.
Tulia. There's an interesting interpretation I've seen Antonio Ciro on YouTube. Just scroll down there and do. Umeipoteza.
Sorry.
Can you see it?
Juu tena. Hapo.
Iyo, soma.
Good fortune doesn't hear the roar of a lion. The roar of a lion to a man signifies danger. The proverb can be interpreted to mean when you are having it good, you don't notice the impending bad thing.
And even with the twist, it's like when good fortune comes beckoning, don't flaunt it.
Correct.
Okay.
It's yours. The whole world doesn't have to know you have it.
Yeah, everybody doesn't have. Okay. All right. Honorable members, there's been a matter that has, occupied both the County Assembly's forum and the other faction of MCAs that is led by, among others, Robert Alai. This is a matter of pay and the welfare of the County Assembly members. The last time we had the Speaker here, we mentioned it a bit, and we also had the Treasurer of the County Assembly's Forum who also talked about it. Is it Treasurer or Secretary?
Secretary.
He's a secretary, yes, the MCA for Ngara Ward. Robert,
Yes.
we haven't discussed this with you, but you are among the members who converged at KICC some weeks back, and you did not even want to hear a PS coming to visit and talk to you.
No, it was very hard work. It was not. It was something which we thought. We thought in a very hurried manner, and the incident of the PS being ejected from the meeting. The meeting is something which I didn't agree with. You saw me almost being manhandled when I told them that, you cannot do this thing. The worst you could have done to the PS is to let us sit there, listen to you, at least leave out with a message or with a petition of what you are trying to say. But that's water under the bridge. Our plea, in fact, salary is the least of the demands of the MCAs, including the speakers who are also the MCAs, who are also MCAs. One of the biggest demands we are making is that, can you please separate the accounts of the executive and the county assemblies? When Kenyans passed the 2010 constitution, we created 95 governments. But we thought we created 48 governments. We created 47 county governments and one national government. The national government, the county governments are also divided into speaker and the governor are almost equal strength. Yeah, speaker controlling the county assemblies, which are oversighting the executive, and the governor controlling the executive side, which is doing the daily management and the running of the counties. But we didn't separate the accounts. Today, if I sit in PAC or PIC or in the key oversight committees, and I'm very strict with the governor not to be, wasting government funds or looting or even letting others not, get us value for money, the governor will probably not sign even my salary. Because it's still the CEC Finance who still has to sign my salary every month. It's still the governor who is going to ensure that the allocation of the county assemblies is done. Some might argue that it cannot happen, but it happens. They'll just tell you that the controller budget has not signed for your benefits, your salaries, even for your retreats. You'll get that challenge with the governor. So why don't we separate these accounts from the exchequer? We say that this is allocation for the county assembly. The speaker would be accountable for it. This for the executive.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the remuneration grades at the counties, can we have a special unit, and we can still have it within the Parliamentary Service Commission, ensuring that we have the grades harmonized. If you go and you're oversighting the executive, where the CECs are earning 450,000 and you earn a salary of 86,000, you see, it is very easy to silence a good number of you.
Why?
They'll if 86,000 and you go and take a loan, you'll probably be going off with 20, 30,000.
Sawa.
Then these people with money, they are kings. Because they control a huge budget. Is earning 450,000, is controlling a huge budget, probably in transport, trade, markets, things like that. They'll be easily flaunting 50,000, 100,000, and those committees will do nothing.
To who? So you're saying that it will be easy for a member of the county assembly to be bribed?
Yes, because first,
on account of how much he's earning?
Yes, because you earn. And this is another argument, the other argument you're bringing, that let's not have one size fits all. Let's not all members of county assemblies earn the same salary. Because some are in cities, some are in risky zones, some are in ASAL areas. Let's have a grades. Let's grade them according to what they have. If you give me rent for my office as a ward rep, 18,000 to pay in Kilelesho, I might not get a place to rent with that much. But if you give the same amount to somebody in Trans Nzoia, 3,000 shillings might be too much for them. So can we please grade these things? But if you give somebody again in Marsabit or parts of Mandera where there's a bit of ethnic clashes, you see, it is risky. You might have to give him or her more to be able to sustain the office. So we are arguing that, can we review the counties, per county, the same way the UN does, for their own staff and offices, and say
hardship areas
and
Okay.
Yes.
We heard from the SRC
Speaker.
Before that, Mr. Speaker, sir. We heard the reasons they were giving as to why this was not possible at the time. In fact, they removed quite a number of allowances across board, right? And they said that this is what we are going to be able to do for ward representatives. What was or rather, according to you, was that a sufficient explanation that came from SRC in terms of how they were now, capping these payments?
Yes, we have had this engagement with SRC for quite some time now. And I remember in the month of December last year, that's when we came into office as County Assembly Forum. And one of the first thing that we did as a body is to have an engagement with SRC, because we also wanted to reason with them to know what is the basis of the current salaries of members of county assemblies. Why was there a reduction from 165 that was there in 2022 to now what is there to 86? That is being the basic salary. And they gave a number of reasons. But one thing that is clear, and which of course they have not been able to give an account of, is in any government, in any lawful environment, you can never reduce salaries of any cadres, even if they are coming in for a new term, because the argument is that this is a new term, it's a new office, it's a new contract. That's one. Two, when you look at the job grading of members of county assemblies, if you were to use the parameters that SRC normally uses for all other officers, be it public or even state officers, you will come to a very strong conclusion that there is no justification, either scientific or otherwise, that will bring a member of county assembly to 86,000 pay, given that the functions and the mandates of members of county assembly are the same as those of a member of National Assembly or Senate or women rep.
Okay, if I can jump in. So what it was is there was 165,000 shillings, which was the basic...
it was a gross.
165,000 shillings. SRC came in and they, applied their measures. It came down to 144,000 gross. So that is where now, after all deductions and whatever, that's how we get to 86,000. We also saw that what you're saying now, the member of county assembly essentially is akin to it connects with the governor the way the member of parliament connects with the president. In this way, the formula that they was given was that 43% essentially of what the president earns is what a member of parliament earns, and we're saying the same thing should be applied to member of county assembly against the governor.
Absolutely.
Where does that formula how does that formula make sense, or does it just happen to be?
Now, there's a number of ways in which we wanted to just find fairness in how the national government and the county governments, state officers are treated. In the national government, a member of National Assembly earns, actually it's 46% of what the president earned. And what we thought is that being a replica of the devolved units, then an MCA should earn 46% of what the governor earns. And that should have brought the salary of an MCA to around 350,000. And you look at this in this perspective, that the role that the president does at the national level is the same role that the governor does at the local level, because governor is the head of the government. He heads the executive. On the other hand, we have the county assembly, which is now the legislative house. What members of county assembly does, being legislative, being oversight and presentation, budget making processes, and all those other parliamentary duties are done at the county level. And what we wanted to propose to SRC is to look at it in that manner, as a manner of bringing equality and fairness in treatment of members of county assemblies at the county level.
There's something that comes to mind. I'm not clear, so I am seeking clarification. When matters of remuneration are discussed with SRC, we assume that when they lowered the gross, it was in response to what may be considered the reality of our economic situation. But is it possible to have discussions around two things? One, when the current economic situation gets better and the constraints we have are no longer there, is it possible to talk and agree on a certain amount that one can then be paid? My thoughts. Yes. Secondly, is it also possible to peg what it is? Because they'll say there is no money. Yes, but then counties have this unique thing. There's something called own source revenue. Is it also possible to consider that if the county assembly ensure through legislation and other means that the own source revenue of their respective counties gets to a certain level that in so doing, they should benefit directly from it, and whatever it is they earn should also be increased. I'm asking this because when I look at members of parliament, what their pay is pegged to is what they decide they want to pay themselves. Okay? It very rarely has anything to do with the economic situation.
Or SRC.
And SRC comes in, they'll threaten SRC. Okay? MCAs can't threaten SRC, at least not as effectively as the members of parliament. So my question is it possible to have such discussion so that it isn't just we don't have money, we can't pay you? The what if question, is it possible?
One, on the issue of the economy, I think all of us are cognizant of the fact that our economy is not doing very well. And even when we agitate for better pay and resources in the county assemblies, we are not blind to that fact. But look at this. The Treasury has allocated 80 billion to the government through now SRC to review the salaries of the state and public officers at the moment. So already in the budget, there's an allocation of money that is geared towards reviewing the the salaries of the state officers and the public officers. What we are asking as county assemblies is that we do not want the national government to commit more than what they have already committed. From what is available, they should consider the need to have a fair and decent allocation of that money to the county assemblies. Of all that money, the only amount that goes to the county assemblies, 47 county assemblies with 2,300 members, is around 350 million. Now, the point is, that is not even, it's not even 1% of the total amount of money that was allocated for salary review. So as we understand the issue of the economy, the reason why there is reluctance in listening to the plea of the MCAs is not because of the money. It is because perhaps people think that MCAs are not deserving. People think that this being the local leaders, they don't appreciate the role that they play in the local level. They don't appreciate the need and the role of county assemblies in strengthening the evolution in this country. And I will tell you, more than the issue of the pay, the discussion that is happening in this country with respect to county assemblies is a discussion of the future of the county governments. It is the discussion about the future and the strength of devolution. And I will confidently say that if the pleas of the MCAs are not considered, not even in its entirety, due consideration, I have a feeling that the continuity and the strengthening of devolution in this country is going to be weakened. The oversight is going to be weakened. Even the issue of representation in the local level is going to be weakened. Why? Because we have a cadre of state officers who are so subservient to even staff, civil servants in the counties. They no longer command any respect. They cannot meet their own personal needs, leave alone the ones for the community. And for such, we continue to weaken the role of members of county assemblies and the legislative bodies in our county governments. Two, on the issue of the local revenue, the structure that is there at the moment is that once you have the local revenue, the same amount goes back again to the revenue fund for reallocation. So even if we collect as much as counties, and the figures has been going higher year in, year out, that cannot change the pay of an MCA because that commission will still limit and guide on what each member is going to be paid. So irrespective of whether you collect less or more, your salaries will still be paid by SRC.
Brother Speaker,
as is indicated.
There's something that this current government has shown the public. Whether they're seeing it or not, I don't know. These fellows like changing laws. Any opportunity, it's like if it's inconvenient, change it.
It will do it.
If it's not doing what it's supposed to do, revamp it. Which means change it. Now, why is it that what you're saying cannot be changed? What prevents what you're saying as being cast in concrete cannot be changed? Who says that allocation must remain the way it is, and that once it goes to that particular fund, it goes and sits and does whatever it does there? Where is it?